إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم أما بعد. Today is our fourth session about prayer. And I just wanted to speak about the essence of our prayers, which is khushu'ah. And there are 3 steps to khushu'ah, but we need to understand that khushu'ah encompasses those 3 steps. Some people speak about the externals of prayer. Some people speak about the internals of prayer. But they are a collective. And one thing cannot be upheld without the other one, without the others. The first is an external issue. But let's just remind ourselves what the word khushu'ah means. Sadly, there are words in Arabic you cannot translate into English. You need 7-8 words to translate. Just like the word فَأَسْقَيْنَاكُمُوهُ. It's one word, means, and we send down upon you rain. That's the one word. Khushu'ah is a word that means humility, reverence, fear, and an extreme love for something to the extent that you feel overwhelmed by it. So it's all those in one thing. The first part of our prayers is external. We need to get the fiqh out of the way. Obviously, it's very difficult to give or to recite the fiqh or the jurisprudence of what you understand of prayer in a khutbah. But just to give basics, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, أسوأ الناس سرقة الذي يسرق من صلاته. قالوا يا رسول الله كيف يسرق من صلاته؟ قال لا يتم ركوعه ولا سجودها ولا يقيم صلبه في الركوع. The worst people who steal, the worst of robbers, the worst of burglars are not those who steal your grandmother's gold, are those who stand in prayer and do not complete their ruku' properly or complete their sujood properly. And when they stand up, they don't hold their nerve together. If you're going to face someone, imagine if you're getting into a wrestling match. How will you stand firm? They don't do that. They're flimsy. And they dance while they pray. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, تَرَوْنَ هَذَا? Do you see that man? لَوْ مَتْ. By the way, just so I'm clear, the Prophet rarely ever pointed someone out and said, look at what he's doing. Rarely ever did that. He had the mentality and the style of مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ. He used to get up and remember, he says, there are people who are doing this, and they'd be sitting in the audience. He wouldn't say, you are doing this, or you are doing that, or you're the one who's responsible for that. He'd say, مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ. There are people who are doing this. They shouldn't. But there are some instances where the Prophet was so angry, and that person was usually either extremely heedless, or just, some people have an attitude, no matter what you say, they never care. And sometimes those people, even in teaching, they teach us this. The pedagogical method for a person like this is to sometimes point him out. That's the only way they can actually learn. And if we just look at the Prophet's life, we will have all the pedagogic skills we need. We won't need to do all these social sciences research that we did. We can do them to be based on our deen instead of taking them from someone else. But anyway, he said, you see that man over there? He said, if he dies now, he's dying on a religion other than my religion. He said, because he pecks in his prayer the peck of a crow towards blood and meat. And he said the example of a person who does not complete his ruku' and his sujood in prayer is like a person who is extremely hungry and eats 1 or 2 dates. They will not suffice him. Sometimes we all do this, brothers, and forgive the imitation, but this is for educational purposes, for myself and for you. But we go like this. This is how we pray. There's this kind of pendulum somehow in our waists and our backs and our shoulders. We become like ballet stretchers or dancers. We don't even have any type of support when we're praying. That is the worst of people. You move like a crow, the way you're praying. Because when you do ruku', you need to get into it. You need to, because the ulama say, this is the weakest position a person is in. You're more strong when you're in sujood than you are in ruku'. In ruku', a kid can knock you off, even if you're a professional boxer. But when you're in sujood, you have strength. If somebody tries to grapple you, you can kick them. But in ruku', you are the weakest you can be. You need to get into that mode. Subhana Rabbil Azim. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. Al-Azim comes from Abd. Bones, you are extremely strong. We're not. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. You get on the floor. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. I'm down here and you're up there. Anta al-A'la. Wa ana ad-Dani. You are the one who's up there and I'm the one who's low. I need you. You don't need me. You need to get into that mode. No, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Subhana. What did you accomplish? Nothing. The other external factor is actually iqamat as-salah. You see, brothers, you can pray and you can have all the khushu' you want in your prayer. And I'm sure you've seen this in yourself before, where you've reached a stage where you feel like your khushu' is top notch. But if you're not practicing your khushu' in society, if you're not bringing that prayer out to the public, if you're not practicing it in how you treat people, those who depend on you, those who are higher than you in the hierarchy, or lower, or the same, animals in the environment, trees and everything else, then there's something wrong. You didn't do the externals. In Surah Ash-Shura, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه كبر على المشركين ما تدعوهم إليه الله يجتبي إليه من يشاء ويهدي إليه من ينيب. Now the scholars have commented on this verse in 2 major ways. The first is they said that Allah has sent this verse to the Prophet. He's saying that Allah has ordained and prescribed to you a deen, a way of life, a creed, a faith. The same that He has prescribed Nuh and what we've given to you, O Prophet, and what we've given to Sayyidina Ibrahim, wa Musa, wa Isa, an aqimu ad-din. Establish the deen. They comment here on this, he said, establishing it comes first with prayers, and then zakah, and then the family bonds, and then jihad, and then establishing communities for Muslims, and then holding our arms together to help those who are needy, the Muslim and the non-Muslim. Those who have made peace with us and those who haven't made peace with us. We still have to call them to Allah. We still have to be patient with them. Allah yajtabi ilayhi man yasha. Allah chooses whoever He wants to become a prophet or a sage or of whatever status He wants to give. But here's the key. Allah can choose whoever He wants for a certain status. But you have the key to elevate yourself. You have the upgrade button if you want. وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَن يُنِيبُ. And He guides to Him whoever turns back to Him. How do you become a munib? How do you become a person who keeps on returning to Allah? Specifically by prayer, but specifically by a certain type of prayer. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يحافظ على صلاة الضحى إلا أواب. A person will not keep up the prayer of duha. I'm not saying about duha, except an awab, a person who keeps on returning to Allah. There's the prayer of duha. The prayer of duha starts from after sunrise by 15 minutes, or 10 or 20, depending on which opinion you take, up until 10, 15, or 20 minutes before duhr prayer. It's 2 units, 4, 6, or 8. Minimum is 2, and you can keep it at 2. The Prophet usually prayed only 4. Why? Because those 2 units, another hadith, whoever wakes up, he has his health, he has his shelter, and he has food for a day. It's as if the whole world is down at his feet. So when you're waking up and you're in the midst of moving and getting to your car, or taking the bus, or going to work, or taking care of your kids, or taking care of yourself, or taking care of your sick spouse, spouse, or in the midst of all this, I have to pray. Now, there's no adhan. I have to pray. Yeah, but no. I have a contract. I have to thank Allah for what He's given me. You don't get it. I have to pray. But you've thanked Him already. No, this is something and this is something else. A person who returns to Allah will always pray duha. Allah will always give hidayah to these people to help them establish their prayer every single day in the community. There are people that the way they live, the way they move, the way they talk, there's something special about you. Allah, if you follow him throughout the day, maybe you'll see he prays duha. Amongst the externals of prayer, the ulama give, brothers, please step forward for your brothers at the back. They're coming and they don't have space, and I can see many spots here and there. Please step forward. Thank you. We have a few at the front, we have a few in the 3rd row, 4th row, we have a few spaces everywhere. Of the 14 major corners of prayer, some of them, it starts with takbir, obviously the niyyah, and then takbir, and then fatiha, etc. We have 14. But one of them that we always forget is tama'nina. Tama'nina is to look, feel, and act safely. Now what does that mean? The scholar said that between every single rukn, between every single corner of your prayer, you take one deep breath as if you're going to stop, as if this is the end of your prayer. So Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I finished the Fatiha. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. I finished. Before Allahu Akbar, another breath. When you get up from your ruku'ah, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Wait. Allahu Akbar. Take your time. Because when you transit slowly and you have that safety in your transition, you give yourself the chance to actually understand what you're saying and to recollect your feelings and your understanding of Allah and to connect with Allah. That is one of the main external things we need to do to get our prayer right. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم. أحمد الله رب العالمين حمد عباده الذاكرين الشاكرين وأصلي وأسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين ثم ما بعد. Within the externals, you need to pray wherever you are. There is never an excuse. We even have a prayer for war. We have a prayer for war when we need to pray quickly and keep our weapons next to us. God forbid, alhamdulillah, we're not in that situation. And never pray to be in that situation. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو. Do not wish to face the enemy. Okay? But if you do face him, be brave. We even have a prayer for when you are basically taken hostage and you cannot even move. Salat al-Khaif. The prayer of the fearful one. If you're standing in a row and they deny you to move, while you're standing like this, you say, Allah, alhamdulillah, Allah, subhanallah, subhanallah, Allah, subhanallah. While you're standing. There's never an excuse not to pray. There is never an excuse not to pray, except if you're too young, if you don't have your mind anymore, etc. Certain fiqh issues. Also making dua. You know, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, but we read the Quran and we don't even understand what it says. Even of those amongst us who read the tafsir and want to understand, we don't really want to comprehend. There's a difference between understanding and comprehending something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Surah Al-Isra, قُلْ إِذَا اللَّهُ عوضها الرحمن أيما تدعو فله الأسماء الحسنى ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا. If you call out to Allah, that's how you call out when you start the prayer. Allahu Akbar. عوضها الرحمن in the Fatiha, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. أيما تدعو, whichever name you choose to pray to Allah by. فله الأسماء الحسنى. To Him are all the excellent names. ولا تجهر بصلاتك. Don't scream when you pray. You say, Allahumma. ولا تخافت بها. And don't whisper as if you're afraid. Allahumma. Be moderate. وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا. And be moderate, be in the middle. وقل الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. Say Alhamdulillah. He's never taken a son. And he's never had a partner. And he's never had someone that he is subservient to. And glorify Him the most great of glorifications. That is prayer. Say, Allahu Akbar. Min kulli haja. Allah is greater than everything. My job, my fun, my friends, my health, my gym, my wealth, my everything. You glorify them. وَكَبِّرْهُ تَكْبِيرًا. We read the Isra all the time. But who thinks that these verses, these are the essence of prayer? I move on to the internal factor. Point number 2. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ. You see, brothers, we believe that if we do the externals, everything is physical. That we only see the physical world. There is such a thing as metaphysics. It's true. Their metaphysics is not true. Our metaphysics is true. It's biased, but it's true. Okay? You think that you're going to pray, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let you go. Think of it logically. You're going to give your time and your heart and your soul to Allah. And even if He puts you in the problem that you were afraid to fall in the first place, you think He'd let you there because He doesn't want to help? Or because He's not content with you? He's putting you there because He wants to test you, and He will give you all the tools you need either to stay in it and to thrive or to get out of it. By the way, most of the Imams that we always mention, Imam al-Junayd, Tirmidhi, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, all these people, they went to jail and they were tortured and. Some of them never left, by the way. They died in prison. But they had the mental and spiritual fortitude that they were content with being where they were. And that is tawakkul. Allah says, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ. Put all of your trust on the Aziz. Aziz means He has all respect and all power. You can fear a policeman, but you might not respect him. And you may respect a scholar, but you may not be fearful of him because he has no power over you. So Allah is Al-Aziz. You are fearful of Him and you respect Him. وَتَوَكَّلْ Aziz Ar-Rahim. He didn't say Al-Hakim here. Because when He does something that you don't understand, you understand He's Al-Aziz, you do not question Him and you respect His decision. But at the same time He's telling you, I'm the Rahim. It's not that just I'm wise, I'm Rahim. Don't forget that. I know what I'm doing here and I am having mercy on you in this situation. So don't feel bad. I know what I'm doing. وَتَوَكَّلْ Aziz Ar-Rahim. What does this have to do with prayer? It's coming. الَّذِي يَرَاكَ حِينَ تَقُومُ وَتَقَلُّبَكَ فِي السَّاجِدِينَ إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. The one who sees you when you rise. You get up from whatever you're doing, and you get up from your sleep to pray. And you're rolling amongst the people who pray. You are amongst those people. You know, somebody says he's a player, he's a gamer, he's a coder, he's a sujuder. Allah knows your status. وَتَقَلُّبَكَ فِي السَّاجِدِينَ إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. He is the one who hears, and He's the one who knows. He didn't say Basir. Because you might be praying where no one can see you, but He hears what you're saying. You might be in the depths of the caves, but He hears what you're saying, and He knows that you're praying. And finally, I end with this. Your perfection as a person is working towards your imperfections. If you want to live as a perfect believer, there is no such thing, except through one way, to always keep working at your imperfections. That's your only way out. And the only way to do that is to keep up your prayers. Where's my evidence? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He accepted Moses to be one of the Ulul Azm, the top 5 of the prophets, Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Musa was far away from perfection. And Allah tells us this in His own book. Sayyidina Musa had a temper. He was quick to get angry. Sayyidina Musa killed someone by mistake. But in the end, he hit him and he shouldn't have hit him that strong or that fast. Sayyidina Musa was harsh in how he spoke. Sayyidina Musa, after he became a prophet, he pulled his brother by the beard in front of Banu Israel. Have a discussion first. Sayyidina Musa had a lot of mistakes. Sayyidina Musa was not even patient with Sayyidina Al-Khidr, so we couldn't know how to understand fate properly. He had a lot of faults. And yet, he was one of the top 5 prophets. Why? Because he always kept on at his deen. He always kept on with his prayer. In Surah Taha, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى. When he came to the fire, he said, Allah called out him, يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع عليك إنك بالوادي المقدس طوى. Take off your shoes, you are in the most purified of valleys. طوى وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى. فاستمع لما يوحى. I have chosen you, so listen to what I'm going to reveal to you. إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري. I am Allah. There is no Lord but me. And so worship me and establish the prayer for me. Not because you want to see victory for Islam. Not because you want to be Aziz fil ard. You want to show people the right way and be strong. Not because you want money. Not because you want to be strong and get back to your family. Just for me. Because I created you to be on the haqq. Bas. It is an internal battle between haqq and batil, righteousness and evil. And you choose your part. Bas. That is the game you are playing. That is the infinite game you are in. And you will die on it. And he keeps on saying, إن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها تجد كل نفس بما تسعى. He says everything is going to come, and he tells him what to do. Go to Musa and this, and that. What does Musa say? In that, imagine you're speaking to Allah, and this just shows you the personal development that we all have to go through. Allah is speaking to him, and he is still afraid. He's saying, قال ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشركه في أمري أشدد بها أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. Okay, Allah, I'll do it, but make me brave and untie the knots from my tongue and give me my brother and let him be a support for me and let him be like a belt I can tie so I can be stronger in front of Pharaoh. Then you're speaking to Allah. You don't need to ask for these things. No, he's afraid. He's going through personal development, and you will be afraid, and you will make mistakes, and you will make horrible things. The question is, how do you fix them? Prayer. Establish the prayer. أقم الصلاة لذكري. When you keep on praying, brothers, I promise you, 1 year from now, you will look back and you say, you know what? I still do this mistake, but I noticed it's less. I noticed I repent more. I noticed I forgive more. I noticed I give out more sadaqah so Allah can forgive me more. Keep at it. As long as you're on the path to establishing your prayer correctly, you will always go through that personal development. And do not forget, one of the top 5 and the most mentioned prophet in the Quran had the most personal development of all the prophets. He had to go through a lot of his own vices. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم فدعوه إنه غفور رحيم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات المسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين هم على صلاتهم يحافظون على صلاتهم دائمون في صلاتهم خاشعون عن اللغو معرضون رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة من ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر وذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا استووا رحمكم الله. الله أكبر.